Why did I not receive that call back? Maybe there's some learning in that. One of the success laws of NLP states there is no failure, only feedback. So, what's the feedback you're getting? What is it that you're learning from some of the feedback that you're receiving, and how can you do it different? Maybe you need to go back to and get another coach, or maybe you need to go in a different genre. If you're trying to do the same thing over and over again and expecting that there's going to be a different result, well, yeah, we know the definition of that. That's insanity.
Welcome to the RAD Actor Mindset Podcast. Each week, we sit down with actors and artists from around the world who have faced and conquered adversity on their journey. Their stories of resilience and passion will inspire and empower you to push forward in your own creative path. I'm Roger Anthony Dumadag, your host, and I'm thrilled to bring you these powerful conversations. Let's dive in and uncover the mindset of success. Hello, welcome to the RAD Actor Mindset Podcast. Today's episode, we have a very, very special guest. Yay! I'm excited for this episode is because today we're going to talk about NLP. And my very special guest is none other than Brigitta Hoeferle. And we've known each other in the personal development space world because we've studied in different places, and she's the expert. That's why she's the guest. I have studied too, and I got certified. But first of all, thank you, Brigitta, for being here. This is such a great topic, especially I feel a great tool to help actors and artists in their careers, in their journeys, not only in that space, but in the personal life too.
Oh, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
first of all, thank you for having me, Roger. I'm super excited. And I mean, how far back do we go? We don't want to age ourselves. We don't want to put a number on that. Let's just say a while, okay? Quite a while. And when we met, I went through, just like you, through self-development and personal development because my business, which was a Montessori school at the time, um, there was some, I don't know, there's definitely things to do better, but I don't know how. So I started just going on the journey, recognizing that it starts with me. And I I don't know a whole lot about acting. I am a grandmaster in NLP. That's why I'm here. But I do know how much of an impact it has on any profession, and then therefore it also has an impact on your personal life because we're holistic beings. I like to say your personal problems are your business problems, and your business problems are your personal problems because we're one person. The common denominator here is me or you. So they kind of, we don't have a switch where we can just switch on, switch off.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you for being here. We're going to learn a lot today. First of all, for anyone out there who doesn't know about NLP, what is NLP?
Yes, great question. Love that you asked that first because that's where, people say, oh, well, where should we start? Let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. NLP, neuro linguistic programming. What the heck does that mean? So let's break it down. Neuro, your brain, your operating system. Linguistic, your language. But also, your language is not just the things that you say, it's also the things that you don't say, because especially in acting, your body language has its own persona, right? So the linguistic part is verbal and nonverbal communication. And then the programming is the behavior of our thoughts that lead to the way we say things or the way that we act, which is then programmed in our behavior. And with our thoughts and with our language, we can also program other people's behavior. We can have an impact, positive or negative, or supportive or non-supportive, on other people. As parents, we have an impact on our children, and sometimes we pass on things to our kids that we didn't even want to pass on, but it's just, just through our mindset and through our words, it just is passed on until we become aware of it, of what do I want to pass on intentionally and what is it that I don't want to pass on.
That's an excellent description. And one of the things that I learned in NLP, and it's one of the things early on was was it matching and mirroring? Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And an example from what I learned is like if you have two people and one is like the loud, boisterous one, and then you have another person who's sort of like the quiet, thing. Do you think that relationship is going to go well?
Unless one person gives in, unless one person of the two, the boisterous ones and the very calm one, recognizes if I want this to work, I got to get to their level, wherever their level is.
Right, right.
And as parents, I think we do it very naturally. We get on the child's level, we kneel down,
Right.
and we talk to them on their level. Well, as adults, it's the exact same thing. When I talk to a new client that is actually, I had this yesterday. Someone called our office, very soft spoken, very even keel, very calm. Do you think if I would have come in my, big old bubbly Brigitta energy, hey, how are you doing? What's up? All of I would have probably totally scared her away. So I immediately, and that's the key, I immediately recognized how she's talking and how she wants to be addressed. And then I got on that level and I addressed her in that way. And we built a really great relationship within minutes.
Gosh, that's the first key to change is awareness. And unfortunately, so there's some people out there who aren't aware. But if you can be aware, that's the first key. So I have a few questions regarding NLP and actors or artists. What's a good strategy to incorporate NLP into their, if they're taking acting classes and voice classes and what have you, but what is a good strategy to get started using NLP?
Well, gosh, there are many strategies, and I think method acting in itself is already very NLP-ish, because in order to, a good actor probably has already some good NLP strategies without them even knowing. And that means you're able to find a trigger or an anchor, and that's an NLP strategy within you that triggers and anchors a certain emotion. And when you know that trigger, you can get into that emotion, whatever it is, sadness, crying, laughter, elated, excited, whatever it is. The more you are aware of these specific triggers within you, the more it becomes genuine and the less it becomes acting. And that's a true, NLP strategy, and method acting, as far as I know, teaches that.
Wow. So do you have an example? I'm sure you have some actor examples that you can.
Well, think about Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker. And there's now I wasn't on set, but I heard that Joaquin is known for staying in character. And when you stay in character, you don't have to switch on and off. He became the Joker, which was also then in return really frustrating to the other actors that were on set.
Yes.
Because he wasn't Joaquin anymore. He was the Joker. And he stayed in that, which helped him to really not act as the Joker. He was the Joker. And when you are playing in a role where you are reoccurring that persona, say you're in a series, and you become that person, or you already are part of that person, then it's easier for you to slip into that. And that is based on a well-formed outcome. That's an NLP strategy. What is the outcome here? Is the outcome that I put something over me and it's acting, and then, you're going to be cut out of the series or cut out of the scenes because it's just so obvious and so clear that you're acting, and that it doesn't come across as believable? Or are you truly able to trigger something within you from your past experience that you can become that person? And I think that starts at the very beginning when you do auditions and self-tapes of, can you own that character and be true to yourself? Oh, I don't want to own that character. I don't want to be that character. I know of actors and actresses that get auditions for large roles, and then they're like, I don't want to be that person because I know what it can mentally have a toll on me. And that's real.
Yes, I agree. I've heard that happen too. Well, other actors besides Joaquin Phoenix, other examples are Jared Leto, Marlon Brando. Well, Marlon Brando, he's old school. So, and when you're a character, it's off-putting for probably the other actors, but as far as the art form and being that character, and also reminds me of being on stage as opposed to film and TV, you do your scene cut, but on stage you're doing it for 2 to 3 hours a night. So that's a true testament of being in character 8 times a week.
Like George Clooney, it was streamed on Netflix on the Broadway show that he's doing right now, where he is in character, and I think he's basically playing his father, or it's the story of his dad. Marvelous. I watched it on Netflix. Absolutely marvelous. And theater, you're right, is just so much more. So you have to anchor in order to remember your lines. You got to anchor them into space, which is a master NLP strategy called tonal marking. So you're attaching specific triggers to find your lines in space to specific, say, a picture frame that's on set, or a chair, or a person's socks. So those are all markings that you can attach certain lines that you remember. Where does that line start, and how once you start that line, your memory probably then remembers, oh, this is the rest of the line. So theaters is definitely making use, just as in acting and series and film and movies, of, I would say, all of the NLP strategies, speaking from the very beginning: rapport building, well-formed outcomes, using the sub modalities so you have more flexibility in your visual cues, in your auditory cues, in your kinesthetic cues, all the way through chunking up to be very, very vague in your language, to be like super specific, and chunking down and go into a meta model of your language, modulating, making use of all of your tonality, all of your cadence, all of your pitches. All of that is part of NLP.
Wow. I remember the chunking down. I remember that. And so as far as the acting methods, and I studied Meisner, but I've studied different methods, and every actor has their own approach to getting to that character or role, whether it's the theater, TV, or film. I want to talk about the journey of being an artist and an actor, and I won't say the struggles, I'll say the challenges of being in this business, because it is subjective. It's an art form. It's not like we go to school. Like, I went to school for accounting. Okay. I studied accounting. I got my BS in accounting, and I got an accounting job. And after 6 years, I'm like, this is not for me. I'm not. And I went into acting. So I learned really quickly. So what is, as far as navigating that journey of rejections over and over and over, that can play into your mental, into your mindset, correct? And
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that has a toll on you. Rejection, no matter where it's coming from, has a toll on you. So the question here is, how do you stay on top of it? How do you anchor in? What do you have to do to not just get rejections, but what do you have to do for yourself to plug into your self-worth, to create those moments of successes? And that's really on you. And he was a coach for a basketball team, and they had no successes.
is it Hoosiers?
No, it's his name started, the movie was called Coach something. Coach, yeah, I'll think of it.
Think of it. Yeah.
Um, but he was, as the coach, he said, forget it, we're not having success, I'm closing it down. And it were the kids, and this is like, public school in the most poor, in the poorest area that you can think of. And it was that scene that I'm remembering was these kids broke the lock at the school and sat in school and said, no, coach, you need to come in, you need to teach us. We are not driven by fear. We are driven by doing it over and over and over again. And that is exactly it. It's not I'm going to be completely resistant to failure, but creating those times of feedback. What is it? Okay, so why did I not receive that callback? Maybe there's some learning in that. One of the success laws of NLP states there is no failure, only feedback. So what's the feedback you're getting? What is it that you're learning from some of the feedback that you're receiving, and how can you do it different? Maybe you need to go back to and get another coach, or maybe you need to go in a different genre. If you're trying to do the same thing over and over again and expecting that there's going to be a different result, well, yeah, we know the definition of that. That's insanity.
Yeah.
But that's easier said than done. But recognizing, okay, I am acting the same way and I continue to be rejected or not get called back. What is it that I need to learn? What is it that I am not doing yet? And then go on that journey. And that is for actors, and that is for anyone else in any business. So, and again, that's not easy. And that's often where coaches come in. May it be an acting coach, may it be a life coach, may it be a business coach, may it be a counselor or a therapist or whatever it is. You need someone that helps you to be able to look from the outside in and do something different.
You know what? You hit the nail on the head. I stress that to everyone I talk to, and anyone I coach, that, and even the best, not just the best athletes, the best. I'm sure there's singers out there. I still take voice lessons right now. I don't. I'm a professional shower singer, so I still I take voice lessons with a teacher that still coaches Cyndi Lauper, who
Oh,
is
wow.
Cyndi Lauper. She's coached John Bon Jovi, and they take lessons to this day. I mean, because they're in their 60s or 70s, and I saw Cyndi Lauper the other month, and she was incredible. Like, her voice was just so on and genuine and authentic and powerful at her age. And I think it's a testament to, no matter where you are in your life, it's important to get coaching, mentoring, having that
Always.
ability person. And I have a business coach, I have a vocal coach, I have a social media coach. I mean, I've a team, and I'm sure you do too.
Yep.
And because we need to see like you said, sometimes we have the blinders on, and unless we have that person that can, you can see the forest from the trees, unless we have that person, then we're just kind of like on this same path.
Yeah. And that person can also help you recognize your own inner dialogue. And quite frankly, and I can speak from first position, sometimes the things that I say to myself, I would never allow anyone to talk to me like that. And then I talk to myself like that. How dare I? And it's not until, because it's often in such an automatic, subconscious way, that I need to be aware of it, or I need someone to help me become aware of it. That's where great coaches come in, that I get to have a new way of talking to myself. Because that inner dialogue, especially the more rejections we get, that inner dialogue, that can get really, really nasty. And then out of that, there's a domino effect from that. Out of that, it just gets worse. And now it is a self-proclaimed future that you have, because you have been, oh, I'm not worthy, and I'm not a good actor, or I can't do this, or whatever the things that you're telling yourself. It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you keep telling yourself, and whatever you keep telling yourself, that's who you are going to be, period. That's how our mind works. So if I tell myself, I'm a great actress, I can do this, now what is it that I need to learn? That's the second piece of that. Then I can go on that journey. Now, I can, between you and I, Roger, I can get up every morning and say, I'm a great actress, and then I can sit on the couch and wait. And then I will get gray and old and never become a great actress, because I didn't do the action steps to go there. So mindset is one thing, but then also the action steps and the learnings through that.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that movie, The Law of Attraction, that was just one of the points everyone was saying. It's not just going to land on your lap, it's like, or as Tony Robbins, his classic example, you go to your garden, there are no weeds, there are no weeds, there are no weeds, but you're gonna have to. There's always going to be weeds. You got to take action and pull them out, instead of like, there are no weeds, there are no weeds. And acting is to me, it's such a great business, in the sense that we get to express who we are as human beings, and art imitates life and vice versa. And as artists, for those who are passionate about their art, in this business, I see, and you probably know this, I see there's so many talented people out there. They got their MFAs, they they went to whatever school, and they go out there and they think it's going to be land in their laps, right? And we know what happens there. And yet we have the actor who didn't get their MFAs, but they studied acting here and there. And for some reason, those people, and you've seen them on TV, they're not the most talented people. And I'll have to say that talent is just one part of the equation. There's a whole other, and I see it happen. So I think it's just individually, everyone's different. Everyone is on their own journey, but it's such ironic that you see it's not talent. It's about what's in here, and what's in here, and what's in here that really will make you successful.
Yeah. And staying true to your art. Not every actor is meant to stand on a theater stage. Not every female actor is meant to play a super female role or whatever. So find, just like anywhere else in business, find your niche, stay true to who you are and to your art form. I know actors and actresses that have said, nope, that is not, I cannot play that character. As I said earlier, I don't want to play that character. I
Hmm.
want to go through therapy to recover from being that character. Or I don't like the director. I don't appreciate the genre. So saying yes is just as important as saying no and knowing what you're saying no to.
Hmm. Hmm.
I do know of one actress specifically who said no to Hunger Games, and her agent said, just give the audition a try, just do it, and then you can still say no. And she went in kicking and screaming, and that was the beginning of a really, really strong career from there on forward. So that's where mentors and agents and managers also come in to say, just give it a try, and then you can still say no.
Yeah, you can always say no. And, like you said, saying no is just as powerful as saying yes. So I wanted to ask you because you are a mom of an actress. So besides being a parent, which is obviously the most important thing to to your uh, to your kids, do you or have you instilled part of your NLP training or experience with your daughters, especially your actress daughter?
Yes. Yeah, and I haven't just done part. My journey through NLP started when they were very little. So we have a now 23-year-old and almost 20-year-old, both daughters. And when Anna, our youngest daughter, she must have been 3, so Amelie was 6. That's when we started with our NLP journey, and they went through. And you've probably seen them in class when you and I met. We took them everywhere, and they didn't just go and hung and then hang out and watch TV in the hotel room all day. They went with us into the training rooms, into the classrooms, and they just naturally, just like children do. Maria Montessori wrote a whole book, many books around it, but one book specifically, The Absorbent Mind. They just absorb. The younger they are, the greater they absorb.
Yes.
And they just absorbed it. And they, to this day, Anna sometimes says things, and our youngest daughter is a personal trainer, soon to be firefighter. And Amelie, the actress, they say sometimes things like a success law or a strategy of NLP, or Amelie says, I anchored in this specific emotion or feeling, and she goes, where does that even come from? Well, it's because she's been in class, she's been in our class. Both kids have gone through the training. They've been with us ever since they were little. So it was a constant, not teaching. It was a constant just they
Soaking
were just
up.
there. They
They're
just soaked it up.
soaking up. And thank you. From 0 to 7, and correct me if I'm wrong, those are probably the most crucial years of a child, even in the womb. I would be singing to my daughter, and when she was in the womb, and Brigitta, she's
She remembers.
she sings. She's like
Ooh,
she
that
was
gives me
singing
goosebumps.
like. All right, so now we go through, we went through the Taylor Swift thing, Moana, we went through Little Mermaid. Now she's on Hamilton, and she's, I mean, and her pitch is really good. And I'm like, my wife and I are like, she's like 3.5 years old. If you're a parent out there, be mindful of what you're bringing your kids to, which in Brigitta's case is like, that's like so valuable training.
It's called the imprint phase. So, and that's where you can imprint on their personality. The learning is effortless. And now this is not NLP. This is social pedagogy, which is also part of my upbringing. Um, the conscious and the subconscious mind is one between age, even, from the time they were conceived until around age 6, age 7. And that's around first grade, second grade, where kids are like starting to recognize, oh, learning is hard.
Mm.
Because up until then, information just came to them, so there was no filter from the conscious to the subconscious mind. There was no barrier that it had to go through. Suddenly around age 6, 7, children are recognizing, ugh, learning is hard. But if the parent then also says, well, learning is hard, well, guess what? Learning is going to start to be really, really hard, and it's going to be an uphill battle all through high school.
Right.
Or you can say, and it just, translates to acting. Oh, learning these lines is really, really hard. Or,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's going to take me some time, and maybe I can tonal mark some of these lines to things within my body or within my environment, that'll help me to remember. So if I focus on things are hard, they're going to be even harder. But when I focus on it's going to be easier, what is it that I need to do? Now it opens up a whole slew of possibilities. What is it that I need to do for it to become easier? You're going to start finding opportunities where it does get easier.
My brain is just like going like haywire right now because there's so many great nuggets that you're teaching us. When we self-tape, okay, like your daughter, because you brought that up, when we self-tape, I really believe, and in my experience now, is that your attitude towards what you're doing is a big deal in anything really. So if you're like, oh, this is going to be great, I'm going to have fun with this,
Yeah.
it makes a huge difference. Just that mind shift there, as opposed to, oh, it's another one of these roles, and
I'm not going to get it anyway. Well,
not,
guess
yeah.
what? If you go in with that energy, yeah, guess what? That that will roam around, and it's going to be picked up. Even if you think you can suppress that, it's still going to roam around, and people can pick it up.
Oh my God, did you ever watch What the Bleep? The
No,
the rabbit hole. Okay, there's a fascinating visual where the camera watches these molecules. You'll have to see it, but it's wild. It's saying that your energy, no matter if people see it, they can feel it, and if they feel it, there you go.
they're going to make a decision on that.
Yes, they're going to make a decision on that. And, we don't go in rooms live now, but they can definitely see it on camera because the camera picks up everything. It's
Yeah.
more, I think it's more powerful now than when you went into the room. There's so many things going on. There's the noise from the traffic or this and that. So people are distracted. But when you're on camera on a self tape, it's just you, your eyes, and what you're conveying. I'm sure you're familiar with your daughter Emily when she self tapes, right?
Oh,
And
yeah. She
do you,
just did a self-tape today.
do you ever read with her?
Usually my husband does that because she's like, Mom, I can't do that with you. And I'll make faces and I'll go into acting myself. And she's like, no, you just have to read the lines. Just stop acting. And I'm like, I can't. And I have a great example for that. And it actually, there's a little future pacing on that as well. So Amelie, our daughter, did a self-tape. She does self-tapes, I don't know, one every 2, 3 days. And there was one self-tape that she did, and they asked for two more self-tapes, and then they called her and they flew her in to Toronto to do a chemistry read. And she knew that she was going to be there with three other girls and three other guys. So it was three girls for that one role and three guys, and they would do the chemistry reads with a different guy gal kind of setup. And when she got the message that they're going to fly her to Toronto, and she only had like a few days to prepare, she called me up and she was super excited. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I know the other two girls and they're so good, Mom. I don't know if I'm going to hold up to them, but they're so good. And I don't know how I'm going to get into character." And I said, "Amelie, let me stop you right there. This is for a series that is potentially going to be streamed for 7 years. It's an Amazon series that potentially will be streamed for 7 years. If you are trying to portray anyone else than who you can truly be authentically, that's not sustainable for 7 years. So let go of the other two and what they are and how they act, and you focus on what's really unique about you, because so far that has worked really, really well for you.
Hello.
That's the niche, right? And she went into Toronto and she got out and she's like, "Mom, I did exactly what you said. I was just me in my quirky, unique little Amelie self." And guess what? Where she is now? She's in Toronto. They're shooting the first season and she got the role.
Congratulations. That's a perfect example. Be who you are. If you're listening or watching, it's like there's no one that can be you.
Exactly.
How to be your authentic self. And that's something that I learned. I knew instinctively. I learned recently on a personal growth retreat, is being your most authentic self. And as far as business, an aha I learned was bring the human being back into your business. Beingness into your business. Like basically bring yourself into whatever character, or if you're in the business, be you, or if you're on social media, be you, not some salesy person. And that's what we're learning. We're not perfect. My wife and I are learning. And as an actor, though, that's a perfect example. And I'm so happy for Amelie.
And she said, because when she was in the premiere in Cannes and walked the red carpet with Emma Stone, and they didn't have a scene together when they were shooting Eddington. But so she met Emma Stone on the red carpet while they were walking up the stairs in Cannes to go into the movie theater to watch the premiere of Eddington. And there was a moment where Emma stumbled over her or almost tripped over her own dress, and Amelie caught her. And there was this quick moment, and she told me afterwards, she says, she is just who she is on screen. That's just who she is. And I'm like, exactly, that's what I've been saying.
I mean, you watch her, and those are the best actors too.
Yes.
That you see them and you want to go. We all have our favorite actors and actresses. We pay lots of money to go see them in theaters or watch or binge watch their TV shows because of who they are intrinsically, authentically, genuinely, and outside of like actors who play really cool characters or even characters that there's still something within them that exudes who they are as a human being. And a case in point is Heath Ledger.
Yes.
Heath, but he had an incredible career up to that point, and one of my favorite performances was his rendition of Joker.
The Joker. Yeah. And didn't he go into therapy after? Because he also stayed in
Yes.
character.
Yes. He was one of those people that was just like so method. And it's just a shame that he's not here. But that's also part of the business that, unfortunately he got to that point. But yeah, being authentic. I'm just so happy. So you're going to see Eddington.
We're going to go see Eddington today. It's coming out today. And yeah, we're all going to see it. So our entire friends group here in Atlanta, they're all like, hey, let's all go together. And then I posted something on social media, and then other friends said, hey, can we go with you? So I think we're going to, own half of the movie theater and watching Eddington. I'm really excited.
That's such a great. This is such a great place to kind of because I want to talk more about NLP, but we'll have to do it on another episode. However, what is your best advice for someone out there who is, whether they're struggling, whether they're trying to find themselves in this business as an actor or artist, as far as NLP is concerned, what's the first step?
I think the first step is to truly hone in on who are you. Because when you are plugged in and clear on who you are and what you portray and what is your little secret sauce, and your little secret sauce is nothing big. It's a little smirk. It's a little way that you hold your body or how you enunciate things. There's something really unique about you, and that happens on a such subliminal basis. So work with someone that can help you really hone in on that so you become aware of it. You're not going to be consciously able to reenact that, but you can make use of it. So be very aware of that. What is your secret? What is your own, it's not secret, what is your own authentic um unique thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the first thing. And then, I said it before we started our recording today. My favorite success law of all times is the law of requisite variety, and it states the person with the most flexibility controls the system. That means the more flexible you are, that includes learning, the more in more environments you're going to win. You're going to be able to enter. And the more you can hone into that, what's really unique about you, the more directors, the more producers, the more agents, the more managers are going to want to see you because you have something so unique. And then I want to end with that. Let go of desperation. It's that energy that will creep in your self-tape, and it is not a good look. It's just not. Let go of desperation. Allow to lean in and say, I am doing my very best that I can with all of the resources that I have available right now. And I'm going to do the absolute best thing I can do in the self-tape. When you go in with that kind of energy, you're already going to stand out from all of the others. But desperation is not going to cut it.
As I always say, don't compare and despair. There you have it from Brigitta Hoeferle. I'm so grateful for you and your family, and for Amelie. I can't wait to see Eddington, of course. Have a great time tonight, and we will see you soon, Brigitta. How can people find you? How can they?
Oh, very easy. Talking about uniqueness. Just my name is right here, Brigitta Hoeferle. You spell it just like you say it, Brigitta Hoeferle. You just Google my name. I am the only Brigitta Hoeferle out there. What you're probably now going to find when you put in Hoeferle is my daughter. It used to be me. Now it's Amelie. Okay. But you can find me through Brigitta Hoeferle or Center of NLP, the Center of NLP. Would love to, help anyone that I can possibly help because I know the difference that it makes. I see it in my own children. I see it in my own clients.
Thank you, Brigitta. Don't walk or crawl. Run. Run,
Yes.
Brigitta.
That's right.
Thank you, Brigitta. And
Thanks, Roger.
we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the RAD Actor Mindset Podcast. If you got value from today's episode, please share with a friend and hit that subscribe button. Let's keep building the mindset that gets you on set and keeps you there. See you next time.